Welcome in this video. Before we start the video, please let me introduce myself. My name is A.way, and I'm producer. I'm producer of electronic drum and bass music. I'm 21 years old, and in today's video, I just want to share you a little story of mine, how I started to do music, and what led me to this journey to create this community on my Patreon. And I just wanted to show you like a story of mine, how it all started. So I remember I was a small kid and I had the, this is me. And I was 13 years old, right? I was a happy kid. I was just living my life. For all of my life, I was a big PC gamer, right? I like World of Warcraft, League of Legends, Minecraft. Well, so I was just basically a normal random kid in the life. And one day I just came up to my uncle, and my uncle was just doing something on his PC, right? On his laptop. And on his laptop there was some like sounds going on from the laptop, and I was just curious, what the hell is going on? What is this? And when I asked him just this simple question, what is this? He answered, well, it's a program called Fruity Loops. And in this Fruity Loops program, you can do music. And I remember this one picture of his like screen on his laptop he had. And there was this kind of a thing, it's called like a looper in FL Studio, right? Or sequencer. And he had this like a sequencer going on his PC. And I was like, well, this looks kind of interesting. So I asked my uncle, please, can you download me the FL Studio on my computer? And soon enough, he actually did. So one day I woke up and I had my own program for doing the music. It was FL Studio 11, and I was a 13 years old kid trying to figure it out. What the hell is going on? Was I happy that I had a FL Studio? Yes. Do I know how to work in a FL Studio? No. So I was kind of sad, I was kind of frustrated. I have these big headphones on my head, on my small head, and I was just trying to figure it out. What should I do with this FL Studio? My uncle was already doing the sounds, doing the music, right, in FL Studio. But I was just so confused how all the things works. I never knew, what is this? What is that? Like, what should I do? What I knew is that I'm pretty good with the mouse. I'm pretty good with the keyboard, right? I'm pretty good with the headphones. I already use the headphones a lot of times. I knew what is sound. I knew these like things, but I never knew how this FL Studio works, right? So I was 13 by this time, and I was struggling. Fast forward to around 15, when I was like a 15 years old, right? I was kind of like going through this period of it's like 2 years, right? So for the 2 years, I get back to World of Warcraft, back to League of Legends, right, to Minecraft. But in this time, I was kind of like still opening the FL Studio, learning some YouTube tutorials, right, about the FL Studio. I just started to get to a whole niche of producing the music, and I never knew there is some like YouTube channels as a Trap Nation, as a Trap City, right? So I just started to get this like a whole idea in these 2 years what a music production can be. And fast forward to 15 years old, I started to do my first own songs in the FL Studio. So I remember, and I have this picture of me actually a short story how I first released the first music, right? So in FL Studio, you have this like worksheet, this work plan, right? This like work in place where you can place your own piano roll and MIDIs and all the sounds that you downloaded or that you have in FL Studio. For those who don't know how the music works, it doesn't matter for now. I just want to like give you like a simple story, right? You have this like a bar here in FL Studio. You have this like sounds that you can choose from. And I remember when I was like 15, I guess it was like a 15 or 13, that I was good enough to basically go on a YouTube, because I know there is a YouTube tutorials. But imagine it was like 6 years, maybe like even when I was 13 or 12, it was like 9 years ago, right? So 9 years ago, tutorials on the YouTube were totally different. And I remember this one tutorial that was offering an FL Studio template, right? Template. And this template was free to download. So I just downloaded this template, put it in my FL Studio, right? Replaced the sounds from the template, from the free download, and release it as my own track on a SoundCloud. On a SoundCloud and on a YouTube. So what I basically did is that I first track that I ever made, I just basically steal the track, right? I just basically steal the track and just release it on a SoundCloud and on my YouTube. And to this day, I have the song uploaded on my SoundCloud. To this day, I have the song, I guess, uploaded on the YouTube. I remember it was 360p format on a YouTube, and I bet it was MP3 in the worst settings and in the worst quality on a SoundCloud. And why I'm telling you this story of basically me committing copyright crime, right? 9 years ago. I hope it's everything is all right. I never had like a single penny from the music, and I just from like when I was starting, right, in the 13, I guess I actually released the music. I think I released this track, this steel track. It was in 13 years old, so it was like somewhere around when I was starting to do the music. So I did this like a whole thing when I was 13, right? So this fast forward, like forget about it. Yeah, and I just released the music. And why I am telling you the story? Well, I'm telling you the story because this was the one big breakthrough for me. And most of the producers this day will never go through this process by themselves, right? Why? Well, maybe because they are scared of not being perfect, right? Not perfect. My track is not perfect. That's one thing that I hear from a lot of producers these days. You know, they are afraid that it's not the quality of the songs that can get, right? Basically, what all the producers these days, what I hear from them is that they are afraid that it's not perfect. You know, they don't want to be judged, right? You judged. And this is what is beautiful about me and in 30 years old, was that I never had this thought in my mind pop up to being not perfect, to not being afraid, to being judged. Because I actually never knew there is like a whole niche, there's like a whole industry around the music, right? I was just trying to release one song that I stealed, right? So I just stealed one song and I just release it on my SoundCloud and on my YouTube. And I never thought about being judged, being not perfect, being like afraid of what people will think about the music. I just wanted to release one track. And this is basically like my story. And yeah, now fast forward from this about 2 years, I basically did this whole plan that I showed you here. I basically did this process of creating a song and releasing the music basically for straight 2 years. And why is this so good and so great to release your music when you have a song, right? Why is it so great and why is it was so beneficial for me? Well, these days a lot of producers have 100 tracks, for example. I know producers that have 100 tracks for real in their folder, and they haven't released a single one yet. Yet here is me with the 5 tracks, and they are not perfect. These tracks are not perfect. These 100 tracks are not perfect, and these 5 tracks are not perfect. But what is the thing and what is the difference between this guy who has 100 songs and he's good in music production, right? This is a guy who is good in music production. And here is me who is not that good in music production, has 5 tracks. But the only difference between this guy and this guy, me, is that I released every single one of the 5 ideas that I did. I just said, yeah, I'm gonna finish them and I'm just gonna release them, right? This guy is sitting here with his 100 tracks, never release a single one because he's afraid he's not perfect, because he's afraid he will be judged, because he's afraid that he will have only 5 plays on his first track, right? Well, I think that's a wrong mindset. I think that's a wrong mindset with everything, because when you are in a gym, imagine you are going to do gym first time, right? And you want to go on a bench, and you are first time in a gym, first day. Do you expect to go 100k on the bench press first day you go in a gym? Well, I think no, right? That's like a most basic knowledge, to start with a small weights and then increase over time, right? And then that's what I did with my tracks when I was 13 to 15, right? I just released all these 5 tracks that I did, all the 5 ideas. They were bad, bro. They were so bad. But I released a track and I got my first 5 plays. And I know it's just a 5 plays, but what this did was that it created the motivation to release my second track. And the second track had 10 plays, right? And what this did is that it increased me to do like a motivation, right? It was like motivation, where I released a third track, and the third track had 50 plays. And I also improved the artwork of the track, right? The next track had 100 plays. And from these experiences, from the last experiences, I noticed that I had better artwork, plus I started to release music in a WAV format, so it was no shitty MP3, right? I had 100 plays, and then it encouraged me to go even more, even better, right? So I started to I started to using more tutorials on YouTube. I started to develop my own style of music, right? Own style. I started to do more complex music. And what I was doing with this, I never realized, bro. I was never thinking about this when I was 13 years old. I was actually building momentum. I was actually building my path. And fast forward to this day. So this day is March 2024. To this day, I have around 8,000 followers on a SoundCloud and around 3,000 followers on a Instagram. This is SoundCloud. And yeah, this is basically my story. And this is the story of an A.way. And I knew there is like a lot of more behinds and a lot of more stories, a lot of more wholesome occasions that happened, right? But quite frankly, I was able to create a big momentum with releasing my tracks and just being better and just creating this positive reinforcement where this producer is still in his bubble and he is still not perfect and he's still unsure and he's still judged by himself, right? And what is the paradox of all these things is that when you start to release the music, you will have actually even more love from the people, right, than hate. There's just small amount of a hate that I actually notice on these platforms and on the music and not being perfect, right? And even if you have the bad reinforcement, so there will be some angry people about you, saying something bad about your music. The funny thing is that it will even more motivate you to do more music and more better music, right? So this is basically like a whole plan that I'm trying to teach in my community and in my Patreon. And that's why I'm creating this video today for you. Before this video, I actually recorded a half an hour video of me explaining more of the stuff, but my microphone decided to not record my voice. So it's just me, 30 minutes talking, and there is no audio. It's just the screen, right? And I was just so pissed off about this, so I was really swearing. And now I'm kind of like happy because this is more focused, this is more clean, what I wanted to show you in this video today. And this is like a welcome Patreon video, basically. You are before this gate to enter the world of a music production, right? And you are maybe asking, should I do it or should I not do it? Well, when I was 13 years old, I was not thinking. I was just no brain, straight to the door. And I opened the first door, right? Paradox is, music production, music industry, there will be another doors that can be open. And this is unlimited options in the music industry of the doors, So the sooner you took the step to release music, to create a song, to get on this journey, to get on this way of producer, A.way. That's why I'm the A.way, because it's a way, right? It's a way of me being on this path as a producer. The sooner you start, the sooner you join maybe our community, or you just want just start to do music. I just want to encourage you to release some music, right? To get the first track and to upload it on SoundCloud, to get it on YouTube, to do it without all the thinking like, is it great? Is it going to be impactful? Is it going to be a hit? A lot of producers just want to create one perfect song and they will have the hit. Well, I am offering you my path. I'm offering you my knowledge. I'm offering you my doors and how I did it, my story basically. And this is what you can learn in our community. This is how I teach my students in my community. This is what we do, and this is what I wanted to do and recreate for you. So you don't need to go through all this pain of stealing a project, releasing it as a 36, 6p. I basically want to save you in our community these 9 years of a pain that I had of releasing, and I just wanted to do it for you, right? In a 1 month. From 1 month to being a producer, to being a normal dude, like a guy, to becoming a producer and having your first track released on your SoundCloud. I think that's a pretty nice goal for me and you to achieve, and I think this is possible because for now I have students that some of them are 30 years old, some of them are maybe 40 years old, and they never released a single track. One of them decided to join or to buy my masterclass. I don't want to sell you anything, but if you are interested, this message really gets you, well, you can go to my shop in a Patreon, and there is masterclass where I teach the full know-how of me producing electronic music in Ableton. So this is more for maybe a producer who wants to learn how to start producing music, right? So this is for you. If you know how to do music and you know how to produce and you just want to get better with the music, then you can join my Patreon, because that's a platform where we basically when you already know how to do music, you can scale the music, you can trade the music, so you can get some nice benefits here, free sample bags and also all the stuff, right? And with these two things, what I was able to do is that guy who is 30, he's like an old man, not old man, but he's more older than me, right? I'm 21 years old. So he is experienced, and he said that this know-how, this masterclass, saved him around 4 years of production, right? And he's only in a half of the masterclass, so he's only in the 50% of my videos, and he already saved 4 years of working in Ableton, right? Imagine together with the Ableton, with the Patreon, it can be another 30%. You can achieve what I achieved in maybe half a year and release some music, and I already have 1,000 followers on a SoundCloud, right? So this is kind of a thing that I wanted to show you, and a bit of a story today with you. And this is what I do in my Patreon community, and this is what is my goal, and this is what I want to teach you. And if this resonated with you, this message, please go down and join my Patreon. If you just want to learn how to do the Ableton, you can search up the masterclass. And I just want to encourage you to go on the journey. You don't need to join my Patreon, you don't need to buy my masterclass. Don't do it if you don't want, but just if you are here and you watch this video this long, you probably have a strong sense of being a producer, right? And there is a lot of stuff that includes producing and being a producer. There's a DJing niche, right? There's a party environment. There's a lot of stories and funny stories that I had. First money, first DJs. There's a lot of also girls, right? So this is a big thing for DJs. So all this stuff is on my Patreon. all these stories. So, bro, by this time you should kind of know what you want to do. And yeah, this is just my short story that I wanted to show with you today. I hope you have an amazing day. And on the end of every video, I say this for us: see you in the next one. So, bro, see you in the next one. Peace.